Hello, and welcome to the PHNX Mercury show. My name is Aaliyah, and I'm joined here as always by the wonderful Mallory. We have a great show for you guys tonight. It's an all-girl party again, and we're going to do just a quick recap of the last two games for the Mercury. Loss against Atlanta, win against the Mystics, and then, of course, a deep dive into this upcoming rematch for Tina Charles, last dance for Sue Bird, and apparently Brianne January didn't even know she was leaving. So much coming up on Friday night. It's also ESPYs tonight, so we're gonna try to keep track of our two Mercury players that are up for Comeback Athlete of the Year, Diamond to Shields, and Best WNBA Player, Skylar Diggins-Smith. So packed show tonight. Mallory, how are you? What are the vibes for you tonight?
The vibes are good. It's a slow week for the Mercury. No, middle of the week games, but just preparing for the game on Friday. Josh is saying, "Please tell me I'm not the one that sings the ooze." Yeah, on the intro song, it's a bop for sure. I was dancing around a little bit.
Yes, and Josh joined me last night. I was on another show, and he won some like cool WNBA like NFT, some sort of something. So I'm still not quite sure what it was, but shout out Josh for following me around on all my little projects and winning some cool stuff in the end. But yeah, let's deep dive into this last little bit. We had a 5-point Mystics win, 80-75. This was such an interesting game. Like we've said a million times, we win these games that we're expecting to lose, and then we'll beat teams that are like way better than us statistically. We can't keep any sort of consistency. That's not the name of this Mercury team this season, but Diana and Skylar again carried us to victory. Dee had 29 points, 7 rebounds. Skylar scraping by just shy of a double-double with 24 points and 9 assists, 5 rebounds. Sophie and Shea Petty scoring in the low teens. Other than that, though, none of our bench scored, which seems to be a little bit of a recurring theme. Mallory, how did you feel about that Mystics win? What were your thoughts?
I felt good about it. I think last week I predicted that we were going to win that game. So that's one of our predictions that rarely comes true here on the show. But yeah, Diana had 29, which was exciting to see. Skylar, of course, at 24, so I don't know. I felt good about that game. Didn't feel so good about the game against Atlanta.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, a win is obviously a win. That's what we're here to do. Like I said, didn't see much from our bench. Rashida Gray only saw 10 minutes, which was the most that they were given. But again, like little to no scoring was happening. Like there wasn't any positive impact really coming out of our bench. And I think again, like what does this mean for our veterans as we try to fit in for this last playoff spot? We're like a half a game to a game away from that like 8th rank. So do you have any playoff projections? Do we want to wait and save that for after this Storm game? We have a couple big games coming up against really good teams that we've won in the past. What are your projections moving forward based off of this lack of ambition from our bench?
I don't know. I'm kind of in between, like, would I rather, like, the Mercury, like, just miss the playoffs in general, or, like, do really well, like, these last few games, make the playoffs, and then just, like, let us down, like, in the first game. Like, I'm somewhere in between that. So we'll see. I mean, with the leadership of Taurasi and Skylar Diggins-Smith, like, they've been in these situations before. They know how to get in the playoffs. So, I mean, I think it's definitely possible.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think there's no shortage of this starting squad being able to secure that kind of like eighth spot in rankings, but when it comes to those winner go home games, I just don't know if we're consistent enough and have enough leadership offensively to like secure the W and continue to actually make a successful playoff run. But who knows? That's in the future. We still are in the regular season. We have some time to go. Moving on to this Atlanta loss. We lost by 10, 85-75. Again, Diana with 23 points. Shea Petty and Skylar scoring in the teens. Skylar not looking like her normal self. I felt like I was able to go to that game, and she just seemed like little off, not giving 100% that like we usually see from her. Obviously, still making a positive impact, which is great. Again, unfortunately, not much from our bench this game either. Like we got out offense, we just couldn't quite hold up against the Dream size. Cheyenne Parker had a double-double, like 21 points, 12 rebounds. Our whole starting squad, or their whole starting squad, with almost double digits. Rebounds on the Atlanta side were crazy. Like that was my biggest pet peeve, I think, for this entire game, was for a team that is only shooting 27.6% from the three. We should be making a lot more rebounds, right? Follow your shot, box out, all those like back to basics basketball that we're taught in like what, 4th and 5th grade. I was just shook by our lack of, like, our defense improved, but we weren't rebounding the ball. That was my biggest thing. Like, why are we not following our shots? Clearly they're not landing. I don't know. I just, it was a clear character flaw for me.
Yeah, and I mean, you would think after Tina Charles left that rebounding would have been more of an issue, but it really hadn't been up to this game. You know, people, Brianna Turner have been stepping up on the rebound side, and stuff, but not this game. Like you said, the rebounds and stuff were just not there. The other defensive end of it was though, so that was good to see.
Yeah, no, that was going to be my next thing, is like defensively though, I think we improved extremely overall. I was super happy. We've kind of emphasized like a zone defense type thing, really looking like we're trying to capitalize heavy on coverage for the ball, stress out the offense, which was working. It was like we were shaking it up and like creating those turnovers and kind of pushing the Atlanta offense around until it kind of came to those bigger players, right? The Tina leaving kind of really only left like, I think, Megan as our biggest player on the court. And for teams that have that kind of extra leg room offensively, we're just not able to meet their abilities with any sort of height, right? We don't have that on our roster any longer. Something interesting that was brought up though, I saw, is Diana like a flight risk defensively? And I kind of never really considered it until I watched the game in Atlanta, and I was like, yeah, she kind of isn't really holding her end on the court like defensively, and I get it. Like she's no spring chicken, but she's not really creating that like pressure, I would say.
Yeah, I haven't really noticed that, but I think I'm gonna try and pay more attention to it in the next game against Seattle.
Yeah, no, it's something like, again, I had never really considered until I saw it on Twitter and then was like trying to pay attention to it the last game. And I think also, again, if we're gonna even talk about going for a playoffs run, what does that mean in that context? Because those winner go home games again are brutal, and even though Diana has a great winner go home record, she's not covering the floor the way that she has been in past years. So plays were just not happening. Lots of messy offensive calls that just led to our ultimate demise. You know, we really pushed out our offense trying to cover that 3-point line, but there was just no movement. People weren't setting screens like clear. You come here and set this screen, and I'm going to go around. Like you can't actively create the play in front of the defense, right? Like that's not going to work well for you in the end, and it clearly didn't. What are your thoughts though? How can we pick up this offense for the push that we need heading into the end of this season?
I'm not sure. I think that's a question for coach. But, you know, we don't need to get into all of that. But I feel like Diana and Skylar, besides the last game, have done a good job on their side of the offense. Obviously, Sophie's been stepping up a little bit too, but we really need our bench to, you know, when they come out on the court, to start scoring as well. We can't just rely on our starters.
Absolutely. And I mean, like you said, it's not our call to make those plays, right? We don't need to come up with a playbook for Coach Nygaard, but why are we not playing our bench? Where are those minutes going? And like, if we're at this point in the season, how come we don't just, like you said earlier, bag playoffs and try to just get some cohesivity and some these newer players? Sam Thomas has seen almost little to no time this entire season, which like is super unfair. And it's taxing on our veterans. It's taxing on players that have been playing for a couple of years. Like, this is a very physical game, very emotional season for everybody, especially this team. And then to have the people who are carrying us offensively have to also coach themselves offensively and then not have any sort of relief for all 40 minutes over and over and over again. That's when we get into those, like that double overtime against, who was it, Minnesota, and we're just absolutely exhausted, no chance in making it that far. And I think we can even consider that Minnesota game reflective of what a playoff run with this team would be. Like, yeah, we can hold our own for a little bit, but we just don't have the bandwidth to really push for a consistent like winning streak or any sort of like leverage over these bigger teams with bigger players and better records. Yeah, I really want to take a peek at that Nygaard playbook, because
I think we all do.
It's interesting. Well, and it's like, even in timeouts, like I was like trying to pay really specific attention to our bench this game. And like a timeout will be called and then all the coaches walk to a different area of the court and we'll have a 30-second conversation and then come. And it's like, why didn't we like coordinate this a little bit better? You know exactly how long timeouts are. Come up with what you need to tell your players and then sit them down and tell them, don't waste half of your timeout in a completely different area. And then there you go. Sue, or not Sue, obviously. Diana and Skylar are sitting there trying to tell everyone else what they think we should do. It's just the breakdown of communication. There's a breakdown of trust. This isn't how a cohesive, productive team runs. And it's disappointing and it's sad. And I know we talked a little bit yesterday, again, on the show that I was on, about, you know, is this Diana's last year? And what does that mean for her, like, as a franchise player? She said multiple times she's not going to announce her retirement, right? Like, we kind of have this blessing with like Sue and Sylvia Fowles and telling us, hey, this is it, you know, let's make the most of it. I don't think Diana's going to be like that. I think she's just going to go when she's ready. And what do you think? Do you think this is it for her, or do you think she's going to stick it out a little bit longer?
I wish that she would do an announcement and kind of, you know, go on one last tour to all the cities and stuff like Sue Bird is doing. But she's just, that's not her. And if she wants to go out at the end of this year, she could. But, you know, if the Mercury don't make the playoffs or get knocked out early and there's a coaching change and Diana's happy with the coaching change and really believes in this team, I think she would come back for one more year.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also, obviously, the Brittany situation is probably a big factor in that as well. I think if Brittany was able to come back for next season and is in a position that she feels like she's ready to play, I think her and Diana are close enough that Diana would give it one more go just to end on a positive note and be with her on the court. But yeah, talking about last run, Sue Bird here on Friday. Before we talk about that, obviously, DraftKings Sportsbook, Mercury fans, let's join the action on the court during another amazing WNBA season with the DraftKings Sportsbook. Turn your team's victory into your own big win. New customers can bet just $5 on any team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. Yep, it's really that simple. If they win, you win. I think it's, 4 Peaks Wednesday today. We could probably spend that $5 on those famous chicken tenders that I've heard so much about, haven't had the ability to try, and obviously your favorite 4 Peaks brew. But the DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet on WNBA hoops with same-game parlays, combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs that you add, the more money you can win. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code PHNX, bet $5 on any WNBA team to win. But as always, we know you want it to be the Mercury and get $200 in free bets. If they win, you win with promo code PHNX this week at DraftKings Sportsbooks. 21 and up, Arizona only, gambling problem, 1-800-NEXT-STEP, new customers only, minimum $5 deposit, and eligibility restrictions apply. Please see DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Moving forward, though, this iconic last matchup between the GOATs, Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi, coming up on Friday. The Storm will be here in the Valley. Seattle is 17-9 right now. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. Obviously, an amazing and strong roster, even outside of Sue, Brianna Stewart, Jewel Lloyd, as well as the former Mercury player, Tina Charles. This game's going to be overflowing with pent-up animosity, and I feel like there will be no shortage of tea being served. How are you feeling going into this game? I think it's going to be probably one of the best of the season.
Yeah, there's a lot of great storylines to this game, and in terms of the Tina Charles return, I think, we saw Sophie Cunningham kind of get into a tussle the other day. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again, and her and Tina Charles kind of go at it just because, Sophie was seen, saying stuff about Tina after she left, so wouldn't be surprised if there's some stuff going on there. And then, of course, the two GOATs facing off in the regular season for the last time. So bittersweet. I think I said this before. I kind of want it to be like the Kobe last game where everyone's just passing the ball to them and letting the two of them just go at it. But, it's a playoff push right now, so I don't think that's going to happen. But, yeah, it's definitely bittersweet. I know we both have Seattle roots and grew up watching Sue Bird, so I'm definitely going to be emotional watching her possibly play here for the last time, unless there's a playoff game. But, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be sad.
Yes, no, I'm trying to manifest just like, okay, they'll be back for playoffs. This isn't it. This isn't it for the two just trailblazers of truly women's basketball. And, they've both won on every level that there is possible. They've had successes in their own teams and kind of like the last wave of that franchise player who's with the same team from their rookie year till their last year. And obviously playing with Team USA, being extremely successful with 4 Olympic gold medals. They both played together overseas in Russia and in various different, capacities. So their success is truly worldwide, and there's no one else that's touched the sport that they have. And it's just, it's so bittersweet to see someone I grew up watching and someone so close to my, like you said, Seattle roots. It's like, is it real? I can't imagine the Seattle Storm or even just the WNBA without Sue Bird there in some capacity. And obviously the two of them have expressed wanting to stay within the realm. We think Sue will probably go into some sort of broadcasting gig, or maybe even coaching. Who knows? I don't know. We might have a spot down here for her next year. That false hope of Sue Bird coaching the Phoenix Mercury. But yeah, it'll be great. And I think even on a game level, statistically, these two teams aren't far off from each other. The Storm is doing a little bit better than us in assists and steals, but other than that, this late in the season push for the Mercury has proven to be somewhat fruitful, and hopefully we can keep it up in this next game. I think we have a chance. I think the vibe and the energy that playing between the two of them brings, as well as the whole Tina Sophie thing, and Sophie's just added energy that she seemed to have her sass on the court with has been electric, as well as X Factor being the best fan base to play live for. I think we can pull out the W against this Seattle team. I don't know. Are you going to make any calls on it? Or are we going to just leave it up in the air and let the basketball gods decide?
I don't know, because I feel like both teams are going to have some animosity in terms of the Tina Charles situation. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Tina has like 20 and 10 in this game.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. Wouldn't be surprised if the Mercury come out like, wanting some revenge against her too. So it could really go either way. But yeah, also Brianne January, she announced that this would be her last season. Definitely has the Arizona roots, being probably the best player in Arizona State women's basketball history. She's going to have a special pregame ceremony, the Mercury announced. She recently had her jersey retired at Arizona State, and she just means a lot to the women's basketball community in the state of Arizona. Obviously, played with the Mercury at the beginning of her career, so it'll be bittersweet to see her for the last time too.
Yeah, such a odd time for the Seattle Phoenix ties right now, right? There's so much movement and so much history between the two states in the basketball world. So, so much coming, so much to go. I hope that this next game is just electric and fun, and it can be the all-star game we didn't even know we needed. Since Diana will be there, so maybe Nygaard's dreams of an all-star game with her will be fulfilled. But moving over into our PHNX Players of the Week, Mallory, who do you have for our Players of the Week and our Comeback Player of the Week?
I have, for our Player of the Week, I have Diana Taurasi, just because the last two games she's been pretty consistent, leading the scoring. And then for the Comeback Player of the Week, I have Shea Petty, because the last two games she had 12 and 16 points, which is great and everything we want from her.
Absolutely. Aya, she let us know her player of the week is Sophie Cunningham, because she's been a great starter at the four on both ends of the court. And hustle player of the week going to Skylar Diggins-Smith, again for her, just undeniable hustle. Corbin is same player of the week as Skylar. Hustle player of the week is Sophie Cunningham. And I'm going to go with you, Mallory. Mine is going to be Diana. I think she's been just the only real consistent leader, both on just in offensively, that we've needed when our bench isn't giving us what we need, but also isn't necessarily getting the chance to. Shout out the Mallory mentality. And my hustle player of the week is Sophie, for she's being electric out there. She's causing turnovers, getting in arguments, giving us a little something to talk about on Twitter after every game. So she's been great to watch these last couple of weeks. And yeah, well, keep it short and sweet this week. We got a big week coming up, and lots more to wrap up for the end of this season, and hopefully end off with a little bit of a playoff run. I think if we can get our ducks in a row and dot our I's and cross our T's, we can maybe make a playbook by the time playoffs roll around. So no shade, no tea. Any final thoughts before we head out for the night?
Yeah, just wishing the best of luck to our girls at the SBs. Still waiting for their red carpet looks, but I'm sure they're great. We'll retweet them on our Twitter at PHNX_Mercury once we see what their fits are. So yeah, looking forward to this game on Friday.
Yes, I am double checking. The results are not out yet for Comeback Player of the Year or WNBA Player of the Year. So fingers crossed for our Mercury squad. Hopefully Diamond and Skylar can walk away with another W. And yeah, we'll have to hit those next week on our show. So hopefully Corbin will be back then by then too. So we'll have a whole new fresh squad for us. And yeah, go Mercury.
Go Mercury.